So in this video, we're going to be graphing quadratic functions, but only in this case, we are going to have a standard form, right? So the standard form of a quadratic function is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a cannot be equal to 0, right? As we saw in a previous video, if a is greater than 0, that means that the parabola opens upward, right? And if a is less than 0, so if a is negative, that means that the parabola opens downward. So here it's going to have a minimum value, here it's going to have a maximum value. The axis of symmetry is the line formed by x equals negative b over 2a. Right? The x-coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a, so the same value up here. And the y-coordinate, so this value that we're going to have here, we're going to plug it back for x, and we're going to find that value. And the y-intercept, where the graph of that function intersect the y-axis, is going to be 0 and the c value. So let's see this information. Right, so I want to sketch the graph of y equals x squared minus 8x plus 13. So first of all, I'm going to find the vertex. So remember again that the x value of the vertex is negative b over 2a. So the opposite of b over 2a. Let's start by identifying a, b, and c. So a in this case is 1 because it's the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant term. So c is 18, right? So x equals the opposite of b. So that means positive a divided by 2 times a, that is 1. So a divided by 2 equals 4. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 4. So it's that same value right here. Now I'm going to find my vertex. So I'm going to substitute this value on the equation. So I have that y equals 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 13. So I have 16 minus 32 plus 13. So 16 minus 32 is negative 16. And negative 16 plus 13 equals negative 3. So that means that my vertex is a point 4, negative 3. So I'm going to start by plugging that point. So 4, negative 3 is this point right here. Right? My axis of symmetry comes around here. Okay. So now I'm going to start by choosing again. As we did on the previous video, we're going to choose 2 points to the right or to the left, wherever you want. I'm going to choose to the right, so I'm going to substitute 5. So x, f of x, y, x, and y. Hope that I have enough space, right? So I'm going to substitute 5. So I have 5 squared minus 8 times 5 plus 13. So 25 minus 40 plus 13. So negative 15 plus 13. This is negative 2, so I have the point 5, negative 2. I'm going to mark that point right here. Right? And again, from the axis of symmetry, I'm marking that 1 unit to the left. Again, remember that this is just 0.5, so 2 spaces to the left, I'm going to mark it 2 spaces to the right. So right here, right? With that, I think that is enough, but let's substitute 6 so we can have a more precise graph. So 6 squared minus 4 times 6 plus 13. So 36 minus, wait, this is an 8. Minus 48 plus 13. So negative 12 plus 13. This is 1, so this is a 0.6, 1. So 6, 1. It's right here. Again, I'm marking that one from the axis of symmetry. 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces to the left. And that's my graph. I'm going to write also the vertex form on that one. So I have my vertex here. My a value is 1. So that means that my vertex form, rather than general vertex form equals a times x minus h squared plus k, right? So in this case, again, a is 1. So a is 1. We don't have to substitute. X minus h is 4 squared plus or minus 3. Remember that this is h. The x value of the vertex is h. And k is the y value of the vertex, so negative 3. So x minus 4 squared minus 3. Right? My y-intercept is the last thing that I wanted to identify. My y-intercept is on the point 0, 13. Again, it's 0 and the value of c. So in this case, yes, I don't know why I have 18 over here. So this is 13. Let's see the next one. So x squared minus 8x plus 20. Again, let's start by identifying a, b, and c. So a is 1, b is negative 8, and c is 20. Okay, so x equals the opposite of b. This is the axis of symmetry. So the opposite of b. So x equals the opposite of b. So a divided by 2 times 1. So a divided by 2 equals 4. Right? So my axis of symmetry is x equals 4. Now I'm going to plug that in on the equation so I can find my vertex of 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 20. So 60 minus 32 plus 20. So negative 16 plus 20 is equals 4. So my vertex is a point 4, 4. So 4, 4 right there. Now again, I'm going to start my axis of symmetry is this one right here. Right. Now I'm going to substitute 5. So let's do the table here. So x, 5, f of x. So 5 squared minus 8 times 5 plus 20. It's 25 minus 40 plus 20. Negative 15 plus 20 equals 5. So this is a point 5, 5. So I get this point right here. Again, I'm going to do exactly the same to the left. 6 squared minus 8 times 6 plus 20. So 36 minus 48 plus 20. Negative 12 plus 20 equals 8. So I have the point 6, 8. 6, 8. Right? And again, I'm doing the same over here. That's the graph. Right? My vertex form. Again, I already found my vertex, so it's going to be y equals a is 1, so it's x minus 4 squared plus 4. And lastly, my y-intercept is a point 0, 20. Okay, so that's one again. A is 1, B is negative 6, and C is 12. So the axis of symmetry is going to be the opposite of B, so x equals 6 divided by 2 times 1. So 6 times divided by 2 is 3. So now my vertex, I'm going to substitute 3. So y equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 12, so 9 minus 18 plus 12, so negative 9 plus 12 equals 3. So my vertex is the point 3, 3. Okay, so 3 to this point right here. My axis of symmetry comes down here. Table x of x, y, x, y. So I'm substituting 4. So 4 squared minus 6 times 4 plus 12. So 16 minus 24 plus 12. Negative 8 plus 12 equals 4. So the point 4, 4. This point right here. Again, I'm going to mark the same on the left. Substituting 5. 5 squared minus 6 and 5 plus 12. 25 minus 30 plus 12. So negative 5 plus 12. This is 7. So I have the point 5, 7. 5, 7 up here. Same over here. And there's my graph. Again, my vertex form. Y equals a is 1, so x minus 3 squared plus 3, and my y-intercept is 0.012. Okay, so in this one again, we're going to identify A, B, and C. So in this case, A is negative 1, B is negative 2, and C is positive 2. Right, so I'm going to start by identifying the axis of symmetry. So x equals the opposite of b, so 2 divided by 2 times a. That means that this is 2 divided by negative 2. So this is negative 1. Now I'm going to plug back in that negative 1 here. So f of negative 1 equals negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1 plus 2. So this one, negative 1 squared is 1, but I'm multiplying times that negative, so this means negative 1 plus 2 plus 2. So this equals 3. Right? So my vertex is the point negative 1, 3. Right? So I'm going to mark that point. So negative 1, 3, negative 1, 3 right here. My axis of symmetry is this one right here. Now, as you can see, I'm drawing that axis of symmetry below that point right there because that A is negative, so that means that that graph should open down. So I'm going to substitute, so I'm going to find f of 0. So I have negative 0 squared, right? Actually, I'm not going to find f of 0, and I'm going to explain you why, right? The y-intercept in this case is 0, 2. So it's this point right here. In this case, I can mark it because it's close to the vertex, right? The other three exercises, we could not mark it because it was very big. So now I mark that one, 2 spaces to the right. So that means that I'm going to mark it 1 and 2 spaces to the left, right? Now I'm going to substitute 1. I'm going to find f of 1. So 1 squared minus 1 plus 2. So this is negative 1 minus 2 plus 2 equals negative 1. So 1, negative 1 is down here. And again, I'm going to mark it right here. Right? And that's my graph right here. My vertex form, let's write it here, vertex form. Now, varies a little bit, right? Because now A is negative 1, so that means that's going to be negative x minus h, so x plus 1 square plus 3. Remember the vertex form is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. So if a is, in this case, is -1, so it's negative, parenthesis x plus 1 squared plus 3. Remember that is minus h, so that means that it's going to be the opposite of h on the vertex. The next one. Start by identifying a, b, and c. A is 2, b is 12, c is 21. Axis of symmetry, so x equals the opposite of b, so -12 divided by 2 times a, that is 2 also, so I have -12 divided by 4, so that's -3. Right now I'm going to find f of -3. 2 times -3 squared plus 12 times -3 plus 21. So 2 times 9 minus 36 plus 21. 18 minus 36 plus 21, -18 plus 21. This equals to 3. So my vertex is the point -3, 3. So -3 is this point right here. My axis of symmetry again is going to be upwards the graph because a is positive. Now I'm going to substitute in this case my y-intercept. Y-intercept is 0, 21. It's a big number, right? So I don't have a space here to find that 21. So now that means that I'm going to have to substitute -1, -2, and -1 on that function. So -2. Right? So f of -2 equals 2 times -2 squared plus 12 times -2 plus 21. So 2 times 4 minus 24 plus 21. 8 minus 24 plus 21. 16 plus 21. -16 plus 21 equals 5. So from here I have the points 2, -2, 5. So -2, 5 is this point right here. Right? So that means that I'm going to mark it also over here on the left. Right? And now I'm going to substitute f of -1 equals 2, -1 squared plus 12 times -1 plus 21. So this is 1. So 2 minus 12 plus 21. So -9 plus 21 equals 12. So that means that I have the point -1, 12. -1, 12 is up here. And that's my graph, right? So now my vertex form equals y, a, so in this case a is 2, times x plus 3 squared plus 3. And that's it for this lesson. May the 4th be with you.